Hey there, we're Shannon and Jerry Arner, your hosts of the Arner Adventures podcast.
We're a minimalist couple driven by intentional living and adventure.
Burned out from the 24/7 grind of running our business, we traded the hustle and the bustle for something more meaningful.
We parted ways with most of our belongings and moved to the coast.
Listen along as we chat about life's challenges, share inspiring stories of those who have taken big leaps to live a life outside of the norm,
and help you live with more intention and less physical and mental clutter.
Each episode is a step toward doing and being just a little bit better for ourselves and the world around us.
Life's an adventure after all. Join us for the ride.
It's the Arner Adventures podcast.
Hello, everyone. I'm Shannon.
And this is Jerry.
And we are back for episode 156 of the Arner Adventures podcast.
That's right. Hey, for those of you who celebrate, this is landing on Christmas Eve.
So, Merry Christmas Eve to those who celebrate.
Merry Christmas out there.
Or Happy Hanukkah, or whatever you celebrate. I hope that it is joyous and that you are having a wonderful, relaxed holiday season.
Mazel tov.
So this episode, I think, is so timely because what you can do is utilize the time that you have, maybe during the holiday season, maybe some time off, to reflect on rest.
Yep.
And you may or may not know that there are 7 types of rest that you need. It's more than just sleep. And that is according to Dr. Saundra Dalton Smith. She is a physician, researcher, author of a book called Sacred Rest, but she is the one who came up with the concept of having 7 different types of rest. And so we've been doing a little bit of research, haven't we, Jer?
We have, yeah.
And, talking about, we're really big into sleep wellness.
Yeah.
And we decided we were going to learn more about the 7 types, and we thought we would talk about them with you and share what they are, but also how you can implement them and integrate them into your life.
Are you feeling overwhelmed by all the stuff piling up in your life? We've got something just for you. It's the Arner Adventures Declutter 365.
Declutter 365 is our easy-to-follow guide designed to help you clear out the clutter from every corner of your life. Whether it's the pile of stuff in your home, the endless digital files on your devices, or even the mental load that keeps you up at night, we've got you covered.
Every day, you tackle a simple task that helps you chip away at the clutter. And the best part? You can start anytime. There's no need to wait for the new year or a Monday. You can dive in whenever you're ready.
Over the span of a year, we'll tackle physical, mental, and digital clutter. Imagine having a more organized home, a cleaner inbox, and a calmer mind, all without feeling overwhelmed. It's all about taking small, manageable steps that add to big changes.
Join us on this journey to a simpler, more mindful life. Head over to arneradventures.com/shop.
Let's make space for what truly matters. And now, let's get back to the show.
So which type of rest do you need most right now? We're getting ready to talk about all of them, and you can see.
Okay, so you want me to start or you start, Jer?
You can start.
Okay, number 1 is physical rest. So physical rest is the most obvious one. It's where people think of what people think of most: sleep, napping. While there's 2 types, active and passive. And so active physical rest involves activities that help your body recover, like stretching, yoga, or a leisurely walk. The passive rest is the sleep or the napping.
Mm-hmm.
So, we started with this first because it's what most people think about. And so we are now going to share ways that you can implement it, things that you can do to help your physical rest.
That's right. So, prioritizing quality sleep, there's some steps you can go through. So, create a bedroom situation where you have no screens at least an hour before bedtime, and put your phone to bed. That's what we call it. Put your phone to bed in another room. Practice a breathing exercise, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And
what is that, Jer?
Well, that's a little bit of I just call that a relaxation technique.
So we have it linked in the show notes. We've talked about this before, where it uses your 5 senses. It's a really great way to combat anxiety if maybe you're in the middle of a panic attack, or I do it every morning just as sort of a meditation. But it is a really great way to implement physical rest.
Another thing you can do to implement is listen to your body and schedule time to relax, even if it means taking a 10-minute break to breathe, recharge, have time for a nap. That's even better.
The next one, number 2, is mental rest. So mental rest, you may get this already too, but if you don't, it's like you're giving your brain a break from overthinking, problem solving, constant stimulation. So you may be in a conference room and maybe you're in a corporate setting and you're all strategizing a project and you may go, "Oh my God, I just need a mental break from this. Like I have to have a mental rest." And that's sort of what we're talking about here. And so there are ways to implement that. Jer, you want to go through those?
Yes. Schedule short breaks throughout your day to let your mind just wander freely. Try brain dumping your thoughts into a journal before you go to bed and clear your head. That's one of my favorites.
Mine too.
Yeah. The Pomodoro method, this is one that Shannon really likes.
Mm-hmm.
Work for 25 minutes, rest for 5. That'll prevent burnout and overexertion.
I'll tell you what else that does. When you know that you're working for 25 minutes straight on a project, you're more productive because you're like, I really want to get this done by the time that the 25 minutes are over. I don't want to go into my 5-minute rest and then come back and still be working on it. Of course, sometimes you are, but it is nice to sort of time block things into 25-minute blocks or whatever minute blocks you want.
Yeah. Oh man, definitely. And give yourself permission not to solve every problem immediately.
You're really good about that. Like, well, let's think about it. Whereas I'm very impulsive and I just want to be like, all right, let's just take care of it.
I do like to think things through. That's for
and
sure.
your way is definitely best, as we've recently learned.
Yeah.
Okay, number 3 is emotional rest. So emotional rest means allowing yourself to express and process your emotions instead of suppressing them and just keeping them bottled up. And so Jer is going to talk about ways to implement that.
Yeah. Here's a way to implement that. Talk to a trusted friend, your partner or therapist about how you're feeling. Practice saying no without guilt when you're emotionally overwhelmed. Do self-reflection and just kind of identify what emotions you may be bottling up. And here we are at safe space again. Create a safe space for yourself to simply feel without judgment.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 4 is sensory rest. So sensory rest helps counteract overstimulation that we experience. Most of us experience this all the time with our screens, bright lights, loud noises, and other sensory inputs. We did an episode, I'll have to link it in the show notes, about being an HSP. And so that's kind of what, Jared, why don't you explain what HSP is?
Oh, highly sensitive person.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
it's a thing.
It is a thing, but it's also like you don't have to be an HSP to need sensory rest. Like, I mean, I'm using my screens all the time, so I love times that I can, get away from it. I'm that same way with loud noises too. Like, I need a break from that. Well, Jared, why don't you tell us how to implement sensory rest?
Oh, how to implement it. Take a break from screens by doing a quick digital detox or practicing tech-free hours during your day. That's a good thing. It's hard to do, but it's a good thing. Close your eyes for a few minutes and sit in silence. I think that's something I probably have a little trouble doing. Dim the lights or use noise-canceling earbuds or headphones to give your senses a break. Spend time in nature. Getting outdoors, man, is always the best. That'll soothe your senses.
Okay, so during my Pomodoro breaks, that's what I do. I go outside.
Yeah.
Whether it's taking the dogs for a quick walk around the block or whether it's just walking out in the backyard, whatever, I just make sure that I am getting away from the screens and the lights and all of that and get outdoors. So I feel like I do a pretty good job of sensory rest.
That's good.
Okay, so number 5 is creative rest.
Oh, yes.
So creative rest is all about recharging your inspiration, giving your brain that break from the constant creation or problem solving. And so when we talk about how to implement this, we think you'll get a better idea of what creative rest is.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you how to implement that. It's Well, for starters, spend some time appreciating beauty in art or music or nature without the pressure to create something for yourself. Take a step back from creative projects when you feel blocked or uninspired. At that point you can take a walk outside or something like that. Take a walk around the block. Be nice. Visit a museum, listen to your favorite music, or walk in a new environment to spark fresh ideas. I like that one.
Hmm.
Allow time for yourself to daydream. It's not wasted. It's rest for your creative brain.
So this is really good for people who are creators, who may have to come up with a lot of new fresh ideas for projects. This is the type of person that would really benefit from creative rest.
Yeah.
Note to self, and also kind of a fun fact. I was just sitting here thinking, when I was in elementary school and I would have report cards sent home, they would always say, "Well, Shannon just daydreams a lot."
Yeah.
And I think it's funny
I got
because
that too.
you did?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was a
Huh.
big daydreamer. Yeah.
So I think that says a lot about that we are creative people,
Yeah.
you know?
Probably so.
But gosh, don't hate on it, teachers.
Right. Right.
Like maybe that was good for us to do.
Mhm.
Okay, number 6, and moving right along, is social rest. Wow, do I love this one. Social rest involves evaluating the relationships that drain you and then those that restore you. This is a good time to sort of look at those energy vampires in your life. Sometimes you need a break from people, other times you need quality time with the right ones. Jer, how do we implement social rest?
Oh, so glad you asked, Shannon. Spend time with people who lift you up and support you.
Mhm.
Put boundaries in relationships, and I think we both kind of struggle with boundaries. Relationships that feel draining to you.
Yeah.
Don't get overwhelmed by guilt or anything for taking time alone to recharge, and be intentional in connecting with loved ones in a meaningful way, like a good phone conversation or in person.
Right. And don't feel like we talked about the holidays. This is a good time where don't feel so pressured about connecting with people just because you have to. Like make intentional plans to connect with them in a
Yeah.
meaningful way, like Jerry said.
Uh-huh.
Well, number 7, the final type of rest is spiritual rest. So, spiritual rest involves connecting with something bigger than yourself. So, whether this is through religion, meditation, or just a sense of purpose. I think a lot of people, me included, struggle with this, but it is really good to connect with something bigger than yourself. Jerry, why don't you tell us how to implement it?
Yeah, sure. Prayer and meditation or a good way to go. Meditation is easy to do. You can do it in a lot of different ways. Just concentrating on your breath, things like that, or reflection to find, and all these to find your inner peace. I like reflecting.
Mm-hmm.
hmm Spend time volunteering or contributing to causes that you care about.
I love this
Yeah.
because I am always sort of struggling with what is my purpose?
Yeah.
What is the meaning of me being here? And so if I feel like I made a positive impact on something that is important to me, like animal rights
Yeah.
or, adoption and rescue, things like that, it does make me feel like I have a sense of purpose. So I
Yeah.
like that you brought that up.
Okay. Practice gratitude daily and stay connected with things that truly matter to you. And I do a little gratitude journal sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, take time in solitude to reflect on your purpose and values.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we hope that these 7 types of rest maybe get you thinking about things that you need to work on. And just to review them, the first one is physical rest, the second one is mental rest, the third one is emotional rest, the fourth is sensory rest, the fifth is creative rest, the sixth is social rest, and the seventh is spiritual rest. And so in case we didn't make it very clear why rest matters. Again, Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith, her research into these 7 types of rest reminds us that rest is not a luxury. It really is a necessity for our physical, mental, and emotional health.
By intentionally incorporating the 7 steps of rest into your routine, you can replenish your depleted energy and be your best self every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So we hope that you utilize the holidays. Maybe you get a little time off. I hope that you do. We totally get it if you're in an industry where you don't. We used to be in that.
Yeah.
And if you are in a line of work where you don't get time off, it really is important to rest. So please, please take every moment, every chance to work on at least one of these types of rest. We do realize that it is something that you need. It's not just a luxury. It almost sometimes feels like a luxury.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what a luxury you have that you can take a nap. But if you can do it, please do it, because it really is the best way that you can take care of yourself.
Yep, that's right. What she said. If this episode resonated with you, or if you know of someone who would benefit from what we talked about, please share it with a friend.
It's a great way of supporting the podcast, and we really appreciate it.
Another way of supporting the pod is by leaving us a 5-star review or rating on the platform you are listening to us on.
And go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That also supports us. You can always find us, the show notes, and sponsors who support the podcast at arneradventures.com.
And until next time, enjoy the journey you're on. We're wishing you lots of adventures.
Bye-bye.